Yes, now on to our nutrition segment. We have with us Oluwakemi Jeje. She is a nutritionist and the founder of Whole Eats and Community Pots, which is a wellness and nutrition initiative. And she'll be talking about, that's in light of the World Food Day, hidden hunger. Whoever thought hidden hunger?
I know.
Right? Okay, so tell us, what is hidden hunger?
Okay, thank you very much.
Happy to have you.
Quantity of food. So
Okay.
you don't necessarily feel hungry. You don't have your hunger pang. You're not having headaches. You're not dehydrated. But you're not having enough nutrients, and that
Okay.
doesn't really show up. Not immediately.
Okay.
In fact, it takes time before you begin to notice symptoms, and usually we don't relate them to hunger. That's why we say they're hidden, because usually you have to search them out. The
Okay.
deficiencies, because you're eating your bread, you're eating your rice.
There's so much information there, but then I would like you to please, just,
down.
hold your breath for a minute and we'll be right back to continue this conversation. Stay with us, people. Welcome back. We apologize for that break. All right, so now, hidden hunger. You were telling us earlier on what it is, so please go ahead.
So hidden hunger is a situation that occurs when a person is having enough calories, but not enough nutrients. So you're having your rice, which is our staple. You're having your bread, your yam. So you're not hungry. You're not feeling growling. You don't have growling sounds in your tummy. You're not having headaches. You're not fainting from lack of food. But then the system, the body is still hungry for nutrients because you're not taking them in. And it doesn't show up immediately, actually.
And those nutrients are not in the foods that you're taking?
They're not, usually not. That's why. And sometimes they are, but because there is some kind of metabolic illness in the body, which also, okay, so sometimes people say they're lactose intolerant, and that's your inability to digest lactose. So you're not getting enough protein from that source. So the other metabolic illnesses like that don't allow you to absorb correctly certain nutrients. So even though you're having them, your body is not readily available for your body to use in the areas where it would normally
Now,
use
how does one identify that you're having hidden hunger? And then, is it an ailment? Is it an illness? Is it a cause for concern?
It is a cause for concern. An illness, no. I think it's just the awareness just needs to be out there that sometimes when you're constantly having difficulty concentrating, you need to check your nutrients level. Sometimes when you're even sensitive, like you get to work and someone says, oh, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? I start to cry. Very little things make you emotional. Then you need to check your B level, because your B vitamins, they give you cushion to handle stress. So if you're not able to handle stress adequately, then you want to check those things first before you start digging deeper to look for illnesses and diseases. I recently had a sister go through the last 3 months, going through all kinds of diagnoses, and she was scared for her lives. And I just kept saying to her, I think that you're really deficient in certain nutrients, until she found a place where she could run that test, and she found that there were a number of illnesses that, nutrients that she was deficient in. Was there also high sugar levels, because she had gotten to the level where she was always weak and she always felt the need to take in sugar, but there were other nutrients that were still deficient in her, and they were presenting now. They had gotten to a point where they were presenting symptoms.
You know, that's the problem, really, because, I mean, you might go for diagnosis, and even medical expert may not identify that this is what the issue is.
Right.
So it's also important to pay attention to those things. Now, let's talk about how to respond to it.
Okay, so
as an individual.
Yeah, so I want to talk about what you said first. We need to begin to be aware to check, because it is hidden, so it's not on the surface. So, but once you start to feel unwell, the first things you want to check, it's not normal for you to go to the hospital and they say, oh, go check your nutrients level.
Exactly.
But we need to begin to do that, even for yourself. Search out what your nutrient deficiencies are.
How?
And be responsive. They're tests. The laboratories that run the test. I mean, I don't think I'm allowed to start saying, okay, you could go to this place. Yeah, exactly. So you could go and say you want to run your blood serum, vitamin and mineral levels, and check that out, and then begin to adjust your diet. So, and sometimes if you see that you've adjusted your diet, you've tried to take in food. So, for instance, if you're dealing with sleeplessness, it could be that you're low in magnesium.
Ah.
Right. So, and then if you're feeling bloated all the time, it could also, it's not always, it could also be linked to your magnesium. So,
So what are foods that are high in magnesium, for example?
your grains,
Vegetables.
your grains and your nuts. And
I take a lot of nuts, but then I'm
cashew.
always bloated.
Yeah, well, because it's better to eat your nuts raw.
Ah.
Yeah,
Than
especially your
processed, like peanut
granules.
butter.
Especially your granules. And I know it's boring raw,
Yeah.
but it's better.
Okay.
You have your nutrients available for you at that point, and it's easier for your body to break it down.
Okay. Okay. So we were talking about checking your nutrients level. You go check your bloods. What other things should one check for
Okay, so
that are prevalent, so that then, I mean, if you don't even have the resources to see a medical expert in that regard, you can fix it up in your diet yourself.
yeah, I personally believe that healthcare is personal. It's critical care that should take you to the hospital.
Yeah.
You're first your own doctor, and the first resource that you have is food.
Yes.
So if you start feeling any of these things I've talked about, and I might not be able to go through the full spectrum, but if you start to feel unwell at all, the first place to check is your food.
Okay.
And then, I mean, you have Dr. Google these days, and I'm not saying become,
Yeah, but you know what Google does to you, especially when you're having a health concern.
Don't go look
You
for
start to get paranoid.
Don't go look for symptoms. Look for food. Okay, what can you eat
to
if you're
replace
feeling
it
this
this
way?
way?
What are you likely to be deficient in if you're feeling this way?
I think that is the first point of check.
Right.
What food should I take if I am feeling this way? So if I wake up feeling bloated,
Exactly.
what am I lacking?
Exactly.
What
are
I
you
need
likely to be
to
lacking?
Thank you so much for this insightful conversation. I am going to pay more attention to it, and I'm sure someone watching right now is like, oh yeah, now that I have learned this, I'm going to pay more attention. Thank you so much for the conversation.
Thank you for having me.
All right, people, we have to go on a quick break now. Wake Up Nigeria continues in a bit. Stay with us.